Hi kids, my name's Nicole and this is Let's Make Art and you're here to paint. And I have a very, very special guest. This is
Hadley.
And what's your favorite color?
Yellow. Has not changed since the last time.
You may recognize her. She's on our team. She's on our social marketing team. So she does all things. If you've ever posted, which if you didn't know, we have an Instagram and a Facebook.
And a blog.
Yes. Thank you, Keenan. Thank you for giving that a shout out.
You're welcome.
But we're in our magic and mystery box. And we're doing a crystal ball. So there's so many fun magical tricks we're going to teach you here today. So you will see that we have our paper already taped down. So if you have tape, I would tape yours down. And this comes with an outline. Now, if you don't have your outline, you can go to our website and we have an outline library. And you will be able to print this out and then you can trace on your watercolor paper. So you can paint along with us. And then we have a few different colors. Now, you can grab any color if you would like, but the ones we are using, we have an orange called tangerine. We have a green called emerald green, a berry blue, and violet. So we're gonna mix them to make some black as well, but you'll see we're using all of those colors today. Then the other cool thing is that, do you see all these really fun explosions? We are going to use salt. So
Ooh.
you might have some salt. Hadley will demonstrate, or hold it up.
Am I holding it up?
Yep.
Which way? Yep. We got it.
Or just ask a grown up and say, hey, in the kitchen, can I just borrow a little bit of salt? This is a big thing, but you can use any of the salt that you have in your kitchen if you want a little bit more. Okay. To get started, let's do our motto. So if you can raise your right hand and repeat after Hadley.
I am brave.
I am brave.
I am kind.
I am kind.
And I am creative.
And I am creative.
Let's do this.
Let's do
Boom.
Boom.
Love it.
Awesome. Oh, and then let's introduce Keenan really quickly.
You want to come say hi?
Sure, come say hi.
I
So this
put
is
my
our
apron on.
this is
I'm
our,
nervous.
our cameraman. You'll hear him in the background painting with us. So he's here.
Hello.
Hello.
Okay, so the first step is let's grab a brush. Now, we have a big brush and a small brush. So I'm gonna start with the big one because we're gonna start with our big ball. So it might be easier to fill a really big space.
Okay.
So grab your big one and we're gonna paint with just water. So dip your brush in water. Ooh, mine had a little green on it.
Oh, mine's got like a little, I don't know, purple maybe?
Pinkish color. And I want you to just paint with water. So you're gonna paint inside the ball. I know you won't see it. Sometimes if you go on the side, you can kind of see. But we're gonna paint with a lot of water because we're gonna do a technique that's called a wet on wet technique. And you'll see wet because the paper is wet that we're doing it. And then we'll do the next step in a second. So add that. And then I want you to pick a color. So you can pick any color that you would like to paint your ball with because you are creative and this is your project. What would you like to do?
I think I want to do green.
Green?
I'm going to be so different.
Ooh.
Throwing a curveball.
Do it. Okay, so squeeze out your colors and then you're gonna dip your brush in water and I want you to pick up your color. And with this, I want you to just touch the paper. I'm gonna outline the ball because we're gonna make this ball look round.
Cool.
So outline the ball and you'll watch. Whoa.
Ooh.
It's so cool. So because it was wet, whoa, and the water, the color is exploding into the next one. Ooh, I love that green.
I know, isn't that good?
Good call. So the more color you have on your brush like this, you'll see the more color that gets on your paper. So I want you to add, keep going. And the fun thing is that you are the artist. You get to decide, do you like this look or do you want to have a little bit of highlight? So I'm gonna actually draw a circle and then kind of paint a little bit more here. So you can decide how you want yours to look. Now, another fun trick is that if you want, you can grab a paper towel and you can rip off a little bit. And if you want, like on one of your spots, if you want to add a little highlight,
Okay.
if you have color, so let's pretend, I'll do it with Hadley. Let's pretend my whole thing was orange and I want to add some highlight. Crumple up a little bit, and you're just gonna dab on the paper, and you're gonna lift up the color.
Ooh.
You see that? Mm-hmm. So it adds a little bit of a white spot. So what happens is when we have a round ball, the edges are darker and the inside spot where the light is hitting it is going to be lighter. So it kind of shines. And so by picking it up with the paper towel, it makes it white. Sweet. Oh, so fun. And so you can use different colors if you want to mix it into your ball. But that is the first step. Now, the next one is we're going to paint our sleeve of our magician.
Cool.
Now, I'm gonna use blue, but do you wanna use a different color? Or you wanna use blue?
I'm gonna use blue.
Okay, so for this one, because it's a little bit and we're gonna kind of go in between the stars, if you have a small brush, I would go and grab yours. And you're gonna dip in water, and then we're just gonna paint.
What's green's complementary color? Red?
Mm-hmm, because of Christmas.
Is it?
What if you do like a red sleeve?
Oh, that would be cool. We don't have red right now.
What about the magenta?
We don't have a magenta.
What is that word? Tangerine. I'm sorry.
You can, but the fun thing is that when it's dry, you can add it more with markers and color
Markers.
it. But also, if you're painting, you might have magenta or a red, which would be fun. But here's a trick. If you do not have a small brush and you're like, oh, I'm going outside of the lines. One, that is definitely okay. But two, I wanna show you is if you hold your brush up and down so it's pointing towards the sky and you just really lightly touch the paper, do you see how thin of a line I can get?
So thin.
So that may help you as you're going around your smaller parts. Now again, this is your painting, so if you wanna cover it all and you're like, I don't want any stars, you can do that too. So we're just painting our magician sleeve. Keenan, does our magician have a name?
I was gonna ask that.
I feel like we haven't named things lately.
We haven't. What's a good magician name?
Marty.
Marty. I like Marty.
Marty the magician, because
Marty
it's
the
an M.
magician. I love some good alliteration.
Marty. That's a big word, Hadley.
Alliteration is when it starts with the same letter, right?
Yeah.
'Cause
Like our box, mystery and magic.
True.
Marty's Mystery Magic Box.
Yes.
Nicole's Mystery Magic Box.
Making my name start with an M. Now,
Oh.
nice. The next thing is we are going to mix our skin color. Now, whenever you might have, there isn't a color that's exactly skin color. And so you're gonna kind of mix it depending on what you want. But a trick that we can do is we have a tangerine. So I'm gonna put it on my palette, put a little bit. Then I'm just gonna add water. So anytime, actually I'm gonna show you a trick. Anytime you add water to a color, it will get lighter. So here's the darkest, and I'm just gonna add water and pull it down. So you see how it gets lighter as I add more water. So this is kind of similar to our skin tone. So we're gonna use that. So I'm gonna add water to my tangerine. Just bring some over for you and I.
Perfect.
Now, here's the thing, is because our ball is wet and this is wet, you have two options. We can either wait. Actually, there's three options. We can wait. We can use our heated craft tool to dry it. Or what you can do is when it gets close, if you're like, I just wanna go for it. So when it's close, just kind of leave a little bit of a white line. So then it doesn't touch it. Now, if it does touch it, it's gonna bleed and blend, which looks cool too. It kind of might look magical. Let's try. Oh, so you see how it kind of,
Oh, got a little ink on the skin.
does kind of add, I kind of like that. Add a little bit of a magical touch to it.
Yeah.
Oops. So again, that magic trick is water plus color equals lighter color.
What if I got a really good tan this summer?
And you want a little bit of darker
A little
color?
darker hand.
So you can mix, you'll want to mix brown. So browns are opposite colors. So we have, let's see if this works. So blue plus orange, they are opposite colors. So that's kind of a black. Then if we add more, there you go. So is that a little bit more brown? Is that what you're thinking if I got a little bit of tan? So you're kind of gonna experiment and mix colors, yeah. So that will help you if your skin tone's a little bit darker. Thank you for that question. Okay, now, the next step is, I actually think for this one it will help because mine's really, really wet and we're gonna paint the whole background. So this one, I would go take a snack break. Hadley and I are gonna use our heated craft tool and then we'll meet you back because we're gonna do the full background.
Sweet.
Okay, so we are back. We let our painting fully dry, and I just want to take a moment to have you look at your own painting, because do you see all the fun different blooms that you had?
Yeah.
I love how yours has that right there. So much fun. It's fun to be able to look and see what happens with watercolor, because you never know.
Totally. And I'm gonna, so
Oh,
Keenan
yeah.
brought up like trying to, do a darker skin tone, and mine bled a little bit. So I was like, okay, let's see if we can, and like, look what, like you would never know.
Yeah, it looks great. And it's fun.
It
love
was
how
so
different
fun.
those
And it was
are.
like fun to like, figure out the magic of mixing the colors and yeah.
I'm glad you
So
did
don't like get defeated or think, like you can always problem solve.
that. Yes.
Nice.
Problem solved.
Thanks for the good idea, Keenan.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we are going to paint our background. Now you'll see that there's a few different colors in our background.
Yeah.
So we have blue, I'm gonna squeeze out a little bit of violet, and then the other color we're going to mix is black. So to make black, you're gonna use equal parts. So I'm gonna do 3 drops, 1, 2, 3 of blue, and 3, 1, 2, 3 of orange. And let's see what we get. So it's actually kind of similar to what we did with the skin tone. Ooh, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
There we go. So that was, again, that was blue and orange. So now we have 3 different colors. Now you will see that you might want to do some green and some orange. Just know that when you do that, you might kind of make some brown. So you can do whatever colors. I just want you to know that I'm gonna stick with these 3 because they're kind of similar.
Mm-hmm.
But if you want to experiment, you can do that.
Cool.
So what we're gonna do is I want you to go back to your big brush because we're gonna be using, we're gonna be painting the whole background, and just pick a color and you're gonna paint the background. And you're gonna go around your ball. And then as you go, you can pick up different colors. So they blend and they touch each other. So there's no formula for how this looks. We want you to just have fun and kind of paint the background. But the one thing I want you to do is while you're painting this, while it's wet, we're gonna do another wet on wet technique, but this one is a salt technique. So this is still wet. What I want you to do is at some point when you have a little bit painted, it doesn't matter, you don't need a lot. I want you to grab your salt, and I'm gonna do a little bit. You don't need very much. So I'm just gonna do a little bit of salt. And you're gonna put it on one hand. I'd put it on your hand that is not dominant, and then you use the hand that you write with, and I want you to pinch and sprinkle.
Ooh.
Pinch and season.
Yeah.
I love it.
So we are making our paper taste very salty and yummy. And as it dries, it will make these fun explosions. So you won't see anything
cool.
really happen now, but the trick is you wanna make sure that your paper is wet. So that's why we're doing a little bit at a time so that our paper doesn't dry.
I learned something. So I get to watch yours and Sarah's videos.
Yeah.
Before they like go to everybody's My Video page. And Sarah in one of her videos was doing some salt, and she was telling Keenan that if you don't see as much texture in the moment, it's okay, because it shows up after it dries. And I was like, I did not know that.
That's true, because we look at it and you're like, wait, that just looks like bubbles even.
So she's like, don't worry if it's not showing up. It will show up. And I was like, whoa, I learned something new.
Super helpful tip.
Yeah.
And so there are a few other techniques if you want to explore. So we did that salt technique. You can also do, let's see, if you want to try color explosions. So we did salt explosions.
Yeah.
So if you also start with a color, and then I'm gonna go and grab blue, and I'm just gonna add drops. So it'll add some color explosions. So it's doing the same thing as we did here, where the color is exploding into the other color because it's wet. And then the opposite that you can do is you do water explosions. So I just have water on my brush, and I'm just gonna add water drops.
That would be cool on Marty's sleeve.
If you want to repaint that, you can add that too. So there's so many different techniques that you can do to make your background look magical. And this was perfect because this is our magician and magical box. Oh, I love that, Hadley, the light color.
I know, isn't that cool?
Ooh, light purple's good.
Just going for it.
Yeah, so we're just painting quickly, going for it. Does not need to look perfect. And each of ours is individual and unique, just like
us.
Yeah.
I think that's a hard thing though to like accept.
remember.
I mean, I'm 30 and I just like, sorry, I'm gonna reach.
Nope, you're good.
I can't always like, you know, I tell my kids like, it doesn't have to be perfect. None of us are perfect, but then it's like, Hadley, you have to remember that too.
It's definitely a lesson that we all need to learn
Totally.
over and over again, every day sometimes.
Yeah.
So yes, if you are feeling that, if you are feeling like, oh, I don't like mine, just like Hadley said, maybe there's something different that you can add to it.
Yeah, just go for it.
And embracing, like you saw, what happens with watercolor. So I did this really quickly. I actually have no idea what that's gonna look like when it dries.
Yeah. It totally changes every single time.
So this is so fun. And if you might have a little bit of space right here, so the space in between the ball and your hand, if you wanna just add a little bit of color right there. Yours might be painted in, but you can add that as well. Sweet. So here's the fun thing, is that you're done. Okay, one thing I wanted to tell you and give you an idea. So in your crystal ball, when it's dry, you can add so many different things inside of it. And this is your chance to be creative, just like our motto. So you can add some crystals at the bottom or inside. You can add maybe a potion bottle, or maybe you do a scene. There's so many different ideas. This is your crystal ball painting that you get to paint. So I wanted to remind you, add that, and then we want to see what you paint. So we have a Facebook group called Let's Make Art Kids Projects, and we have an Instagram called Let's Make Art Kids. So we want to see what you make. So when this is dry, you can take off the tape. It's really fun to take off the tape, but I would wait till it's dry because the edges are still kind of wet. Oh, and then let's also take a moment to look.
So cool. It's so cool.
I love the salt technique because sometimes if you have a lot of salt together, it'll make kind of a big explosion.
Yeah.
And then you might get some really, really tiny ones.
Yeah.
So I would take a break, come back, and make sure to look at it and share with us.
Yes.
So this was awesome and magical. I love all the colors you did.
Thanks for letting me paint with you.
Yeah, thank you for being here.
Yeah, of course.
Thank you for being here.
Yes.
And always remember that you are brave, kind, and so creative. And we'll see you next time.
Bye, friends.